Oh, welcome back, my evolving enigma. Every step you take becomes their new fear. They watched your growth like a glitch they couldn't explain. At first, they ignored you. Just another quiet soul moving in the background. They thought silence meant weakness. They thought calm meant fear. They thought the absence of noise meant the absence of power. But silence isn't emptiness. It's pressure before eruption. It's evolution without permission. And you were evolving in real time. They saw the shift before you did. Your energy sharpened. Your gaze carried weight. Your presence began bending outcomes without effort. You no longer reacted to the world. The world reacted to you. Every layer of doubt they tried to bury you under became fuel. Every limitation they projected onto you became a ladder. You stopped asking, stopped waiting, stopped shrinking to fit their comfort. Your potential started to leak out, even when you tried to hide it. They questioned you. They mocked your pace. They laughed at your patience. They assumed nothing was happening because they couldn't see the process. But evolution rarely advertises itself. Growth isn't noisy. Transformation isn't public. The greatest shift happens when no one is watching. Or so they thought. Because then the signs started appearing. The way you spoke, carefully crafted, like you were rearranging the air. The way you walked, steady, like the ground belonged to your footsteps. The way you made decisions, precise, as if you already knew the ending. Your confidence wasn't loud, it was inevitable. Your ambition wasn't visible, it was felt. Your power wasn't announced, it arrived. And they noticed. Oh, they noticed. They saw the old version of you die quietly without a funeral. They saw a new version emerge without permission. They saw potential turn into trajectory, and that scared them. Because suddenly, their stories about you stopped working. Their jokes stopped landing. Their doubts no longer had a place to live. You didn't respond to insults. You outgrew them. You didn't argue with critics. You outpaced them. You didn't need validation. You became validation. Your silence became a warning. Your calm became a prophecy. Your existence became a challenge. They watched your evolution like a slow-motion awakening. Undeniable, unstoppable, uncomfortable. The ones who once talked over you now fall silent, trying to understand you. The ones who thought they built, you now struggle to recognize what stands in front of them. The ones who underestimated, you now wonder how they failed to see the storm forming behind your eyes. Because now the truth is impossible to hide. You didn't change. You returned to who you were always meant to be. Your rise isn't a mystery. It's the consequence of finally believing in the power that was buried inside you. You're not reaching your potential. You're remembering it. And as you rise, they stand frozen, terrified. They're not scared of who you are right now. They're terrified of who you're about to become. Because this isn't your peak. This is the prelude. They thought they knew your limits. They thought they could measure your growth with their small imagination. But what they didn't realize is that curiosity was watching you. Destiny was watching you. The universe itself was watching you evolve. And every time you rose above a battle they expected to break you, reality learned something new about you. Your transformation wasn't loud because power never wastes breath. You upgraded in silence while they performed for attention. They competed with each other while you competed with who you were yesterday. They chased validation while you chased mastery. And that difference, that discipline, became the gap they can no longer cross. You learned something they never did. Pressure isn't the enemy. Pressure is the sculptor. Every hardship carved precision into your character. Every betrayal sharpened your vision. Every rejection recalibrated your direction. They saw you fall and assumed you were finished. They didn't know that rock bottom is the foundation evolution chooses. Now look at them, the ones who once called you average, now panic when they see your focus. The ones who tried to distract you now fear the silence you give them. The ones who doubted your potential now study your every move like a warning. They scroll through your progress hoping it's temporary, praying you slip, wishing you shrink back into the version they were comfortable defeating. But you didn't evolve to impress them. You evolved to replace them. You started moving like someone who discovered their purpose. No hesitation, no permission slips, no apologies. Your actions became declarations. Your mentality became weaponized. Your presence started rewriting the energy in every room you entered. You became a mirror reflecting back what they lack. Your growth exposed their stagnation. Your courage exposed their fear. Your discipline exposed their excuses. Now their whispers have changed. Who do they think they are? Turned into, how did they do that? What makes them special? Turned into, why can't I stop watching their rise? They used to talk about you like a joke. Now they talk about you like a threat. Because evolution doesn't ask for acceptance. It demands recognition. You've stepped into a version of yourself that doesn't negotiate with limits. You didn't level up. You outgrew the level. The goals that once terrified you now look tiny. The dreams you thought were impossible now feel like checkpoints. Your ambition isn't futuristic. It's overdue. They fear you now because they finally understand the truth. You're not even close to your final form. This is the version of you that's still warming up. Still unlocking, still downloading the power that was always yours. They watched your evolution in real time, and they were unprepared for how fast you outpaced the timeline they wrote for you. They didn't expect someone they dismissed to become someone they admire in secret. They didn't expect the underdog to become the blueprint. But now they know, now they see, now they tremble, because your next transformation is the one that turns fear into respect. The rise continues. They thought your evolution would be slow, gradual, predictable, something they could track in spreadsheets and behavioral charts. But transformation doesn't send warnings. Growth doesn't knock. It erupts, and you began evolving faster than anyone's fear could keep up with. One moment you were silent. The next, the atmosphere around you changed. The space you walked through felt upgraded. People who used to look down on you suddenly struggled to hold your gaze. That's when the confusion began, because they remember the version of you they mocked. The one who doubted, the one who apologized for existing, the one who tried to earn their approval. They don't recognize this version, this posture, this frequency. They search for weaknesses that no longer exist. They test your patience like it's still breakable. Not knowing patience becomes volcanic when purpose awakens. You didn't announce your rebirth. You embodied it. And nothing terrifies a stagnant soul more than someone who rises without permission. They watched you erase every insecurity they tried to tattoo into your identity. They saw your eyes lose their old desperation. They sensed the sky leaning closer whenever you spoke. That's not confidence. That's authority rediscovered. Now they scramble to adjust the narratives they built around you. They whisper to each other, what changed? Who told them they were allowed to be this powerful? But the truth is simpler. No one told you. You remembered. You remembered that you don't need validation to breathe, that you don't need permission to rise. You remembered that silence isn't weakness. It's incubation. And the more you evolved, the more their illusions shattered. Their control was never real. It only worked when you forgot who you were. Their advantage existed only while you believed them. But once you opened your eyes, their thrones turned into a chair, and you turned into something they can't define. Look at them now, scared of the same presence they once ignored. They don't fear that you've changed. They fear that you'll never go back. They fear the day you stop holding on to what hurt you. Because once you do, you become unstoppable. Pain was the weight tied to your ankle. Cutting it off wasn't a loss. It was liberation. They used to laugh when you dreamed. Now they flinch when you speak. They used to underestimate your depth. Now they drown in a single look. You built yourself out of the fire they threw you into, while they stayed flammable. And that's why your evolution stings them. It proves that their comfort was the real weakness all along. They're watching your rise like a horror movie they accidentally star in, realizing, too late, that they trained the villain by trying to break the hero. You didn't evolve to impress them. You evolved because destiny got tired of waiting. And now, every step you take sends a message they can't ignore anymore. This isn't growth. This is transformation, and evolution never asks for consent. They didn't just witness your evolution, they recorded it. They analyzed your silence like it was evidence. They replayed your resilience in slow motion, trying to find the moment you became dangerous. But the truth is, there was no moment. There was only awakening, a gradual ignition becoming a wildfire, a quiet spirit turning into a gravitational force. Now they scroll back through memories like security footage, asking themselves if they missed the warning signs. They didn't. You gave them 1,000 signs. They just didn't believe a spark could become a storm. They assumed you were safe because you were soft. They assumed you were harmless because you healed. They forgot that transformation is the most unpredictable weapon in existence. Evolution doesn't shout, it whispers. It hides inside discipline. It disguises itself as patience. It moves through repetition, through every night you tried again, through every failure that sharpened your thought, through every scar that trained your eyes to see truth without flinching. They thought pain was breaking you. Pain was programming you. And now, the version of you standing here isn't the result of motivation. It's the result of metamorphosis. You didn't upgrade, you transcended. You broke the floor they built beneath you and realized it was never the ground, just a ceiling they disguised as reality. Look at their faces now. They study your posture like it's a prophecy. They analyze your expression like a code they can't crack. They track your steps, hoping to anticipate your next evolution before it arrives. But that's the fear, isn't it? They don't know what you're becoming, only that it's happening too fast for them to react. They fear what they cannot predict, because prediction is control, and you erased their script. You are no longer within their expectations. You are operating outside their imagination, and every day you widen the gap. Every day you become someone they aren't equipped to handle. They used to think you were one of them. Now they whisper that you might be something else entirely. They fear your composure. They fear your clarity. They fear your inevitable momentum. Because power doesn't always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives with certainty. You stopped asking why me and started saying, watch me. You replaced apologies with presence. You replaced permission with movement. You stopped shrinking and the world around you started shaking. They can't grasp how you turned isolation into a blueprint, how you turned heartbreak into architecture, how everything meant to bury you became the soil you evolved from. They wanted to see you break. Instead, they watched you become the one thing they can't stop, a future they aren't ready for. So now, every step you take sounds like a countdown. Every choice is a tectonic shift. Every glance is a reminder that the story is no longer theirs to narrate. They watched you evolve in real time. Now they're praying evolution stops here, but it won't. Because this isn't your final form. It's the first one they'll never survive. They underestimated the cost of your silence. They mistook it for surrender, not knowing silence is where gods load ammunition. While they bragged, you built. While they mocked, you mastered. While they tried to flex power, you learned how power is constructed. Every second they wasted staring at their own reflection. You were becoming the reflection they now fear to look into. Because the difference between you and them is this. They evolve for applause. You evolve for war. You sharpened every flaw into a blade. You turned every doubt into discipline. You carved truth into your spine until it became your posture. You realized the world doesn't respond to words. It responds to frequency. So you changed yours. You tuned yourself into someone loud without speaking, dangerous without acting, royal without a crown. That's when they started to panic. They thought control came from attention. They thought influence came from numbers. But they forgot. True power is invisible until it strikes. And when you struck, you didn't need noise. Your results roared for you. Your presence became the siren. The shift in your aura became the alarm. People who once called you delusional now call you different. People who ignored you now try to attach themselves to your momentum. People who tried to bury you now wish they had learned from you. But you don't owe them recognition. You don't even owe them eye contact. You climbed a mountain they pretended didn't exist. And now the view terrifies them. Because from up here, their opinions look microscopic. Their ego looks like a costume. Their validation looks like a cheap drug. While they performed strength, you built it. While they demanded attention, you demanded evolution. While they played king, you learned to move like a kingdom. You became your own infrastructure, your own protection, your own prophecy, and that's what keeps them awake now. Because they see where this is heading, even if they won't admit it. They see that you're not chasing success. Success is chasing you, not because you begged for it, but because you became someone it doesn't want to lose. They remember the old you, the apologetic one, the hopeful one, the one who still believed they would clap for your victories. That version of you died quietly, and no one noticed. But the one standing here, the one evolving in real time, that's the version they're praying never gets angry. Evolution made you unstoppable. Awareness made you untouchable. Forgiveness made you unpredictable. And unpredictability is the one language fear understands perfectly. Now their biggest regret is simple. They didn't respect you when they had the chance. Because once you woke up, once you looked at your wounds and called them wings, once you replaced fear with focus, you became the consequence they can't escape. They watched you evolve. They feared you'd rise, but what they never expected is what's coming next. You're about to become inevitable. They once laughed at your dreams because they couldn't picture them. Now they fear your silence because they can feel it, forming something they can't stop. You outgrew their imagination, and that is the greatest revenge existence ever invented, because nothing terrifies a small mind more than someone who refuses to stay small with them. You didn't evolve to prove them wrong. You evolved because mediocrity suffocates you. You don't need to shout your comeback. They can hear the shift in your breathing. They can sense the difference in how you look at the world now. You're not searching for approval. You're scanning for opportunity. You're not asking to be included. You're deciding what's worthy of your attention. That's why they panic. You removed their audience. You removed their influence. You removed their power the moment you stopped needing their validation. They trained themselves to expect the old you, the one who explained too much, the one who cared too deeply, the one who waited to be chosen. But you burned that version in silence, and silence screams louder than any announcement. They don't understand how someone can go from ignored to inevitable, but that's because their growth relies on recognition, and yours relies on discipline. You grew in darkness. You upgraded off-screen. You rebuilt yourself in places their opinions couldn't reach. And now you walk with a confidence they didn't give you, which means they can't take it away. That's what haunts them. Your power is self-made. Your standards are self-set. Your throne is self-built. You're no longer fueled by proving anyone wrong. You're fueled by the promise of who you're about to become. You're no longer seeking respect. You are respect in human form. They keep asking, who do they think they are? The real question is, how blind were we to not see this coming? Every fake friend who used you as a mirror now avoids you because you've become a reminder of everything they refused to be. Every critic who mocked your pace now studies your steps because you're walking a path they can't reverse engineer. Every doubter who whispered your limits now speaks with caution because they know you're listening with sharper ears. They used to underestimate you because your power was potential. Now they overthink you because your potential became proof. You turned pain into plans. You turned betrayal into boundary. You turned loneliness into leadership. They used to smirk when you said you'd change your life. Now they stutter when they ask how you did it. Your evolution wasn't an accident. It was a contract, signed in scars, sealed in discipline, delivered by destiny. And now destiny is impatient. It knows you're ready. It knows they're not. But evolution doesn't wait for permission. It arrives when mediocrity has overstayed its welcome. Their fear isn't that you're changing. Their fear is that you're not done yet, because they've seen the growth behind you, and they finally understand the power in front of you. This isn't your peak. This is your loading screen, and the world is trembling at what's buffering next. They thought your evolution had a limit, a finish line, a final form. They assumed growth comes with an expiration date, that once you healed, once you rose, once you stabilized, you'd stop. But they didn't understand that your improvement isn't a phase. It's a reflex. You don't evolve because you want revenge. You evolve because standing still feels like death. Every version of you that you've buried becomes fuel for the next one. Every failure you outgrew becomes armor on the new design. You aren't transforming, you're unfolding. You're peeling back layers that were always there, hidden beneath obedience, exhaustion, and underestimation. They saw a quiet person with a small presence. They didn't see the universe compressing power into a human vessel. Now your presence hits different. When you walk into a room, egos shrink, insecurities flare, people straighten their posture, shrink their eyes, adjust their tone, instinctively trying to protect their pride from the truth your aura exposes. You don't threaten them with words. You threaten them with reflection, because nothing scares a fraud more than someone who has finally learned their worth. And your worth is loud now, even in silence. They thought cutting you out would kill your momentum. They thought betraying you would break your focus. They thought ignoring you would erase your fire. But they didn't realize their absence was oxygen. Losing them wasn't a wound, it was a detox. The more they disappeared, the more you reappeared to yourself. You didn't lose a circle, you lost a cage. Your heart doesn't beat the same way anymore. Purpose rewired it, pain calibrated it, power synchronized it. You've stopped fighting for places you've outgrown, because elevation doesn't argue with gravity. You don't chase connection now, you attract alignment. Only those who vibrate with honesty can tune into the frequency you've become. That's the evolution they never predicted. You stopped needing people who slow your signal. Now they watch with fear disguised as curiosity. They refresh your page more than their own. They analyze your silence like it's a warning. They gossip while secretly saving your progress as motivation. Because deep down, they know the truth. You're no longer one of them. You're what they pretend to be. The world they tried to confine you to is collapsing behind you. You've stepped into a realm they can't navigate, where confidence isn't loud, success isn't shared, and every move is calculated for a future they can't see. You're building a life that makes their version look like a backup plan. And the most terrifying part, you're still warming up. This level of you is just the admission ticket. The real transformation hasn't even started breathing yet. You haven't shown them your final blueprint, only the foundation. They're panicking already, and they haven't even witnessed the storm that's coming. They watched you evolve in real time. Now they fear the next chapter, because this time, they won't get a front row seat. They'll only see the aftershocks of your ascent. This isn't evolution anymore. This is ascension. They wanted you predictable. They wanted you reachable. They wanted you stuck in last year's version of yourself so they could stay comfortable while calling it friendship. But evolution has no loyalty to comfort. You outgrew the rooms that told you to shrink. You outgrew the voices that needed you insecure. You outgrew the limits that fed on your doubt. And while they were busy underestimating you, life was over here sculpting something unrecognizable out of your scars. Now they stare at you like they're seeing a ghost. Because in a way, they are. The old you, the one they betrayed, the one they mocked, The one they walked over because they thought your kindness made you harmless. That version is gone. You buried them without a funeral, and you didn't leave a map to the grave. They miss someone who no longer exists. They mourn a weakness that will never return. You learned the art of the controlled comeback. Not loud, not obvious, quiet. Like a storm gathering behind the mountains. Unavoidable like a consequence they never imagined would have a pulse. You leveled up so silently that by the time they noticed, you were already light years away. Unreachable, unrelatable, untouchable. They thought visibility was your weakness. They were wrong. Your real power was always your mystery. The silence they laughed at. The calm they mislabeled as fear. They didn't know silence is where strategy is born. Where power trains in private. Where destiny sharpens its teeth. You didn't evolve to impress. You evolved to transcend. That's why your growth feels personal to them. Because it is. Your rise exposes every moment they chose comfort instead of courage. Your progress is a mirror they can't escape. Every one of your wins feels like a reminder that they could have come with you, but they didn't. And now, fear is replacing their pride. They see the shift in your eyes, the new pattern in your presence. You don't engage in the same conversations. You don't bleed for the same battles. You don't flinch at the same threats. There's a stillness in you now, the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and exactly who can't sit with you anymore. You became immune to their projections, unaffected by their doubts, unreachable by their insecurities. Your power doesn't shout, it resonates. It moves through spaces before you arrive. It demands respect before you speak. You're not the loudest one in the room. You're the one the room shifts around. The one whose energy rearranges the air. That's influence they can't imitate. So let them fear. Let their voices tremble when they mention your name. Let their regret keep them up at night. Because every painful chapter they wrote into your story, you turned into a prophecy of greatness. You didn't just evolve. You executed an upgrade their minds were never built to understand. They watched you evolve in real time. Now they panic about what comes next. Because for the first time in their lives, you are the unknown. You are the future they can't predict. You are the force they can't prepare for. And evolution just crowned you its new architect. The world, without realizing it, has already begun adapting to you. They thought they'd get a warning, a speech, a clue, but destiny doesn't send notifications. It strikes. And somewhere along the line, while they were laughing at where you were, you quietly became the thing they swore you'd never reach. Unignorable. Now every move you make feels like a threat they can't stop, and a prophecy they can't rewrite. You became fluent in the language of transformation, not the pretty version. The version that rips roots from soil and builds forests where deserts once existed. Your evolution wasn't a self-care aesthetic. It was war. It was survival. It was nights choking down silence until it tasted like strategy. They never saw those nights. They only see the results, and results are louder than explanations will ever be. You shifted from trying to be understood to becoming impossible to misunderstand. Your energy says everything now. The way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you don't need to prove a single thing. You no longer chase acceptance. You control the standard. They don't get to define you anymore. They don't even get close enough to try. Your glow didn't blind them. It exposed them. Exposed who was real. Exposed who was envious. Exposed who could never sit at your next table. So they panic. They gossip. They rewrite history in conversations you'll never attend. Because admitting the truth would destroy them. You weren't the problem. You were the upgrade. They see the shape of what you're becoming, and it terrifies them. Because if this is what your rise looks like, quiet, composed, unstoppable, then what happens when you finally decide to unleash your full potential? What happens when you stop being humble about power and start using it? You are the tension in their silence, the reason they double-check their reflection, the threat of what happens when a heart, like yours, stops begging to be understood and starts preparing to lead. They say, "You've changed." No, you finally aligned. You stopped apologizing for your vision. You stopped shrinking into shadows made by insecure people. You stopped bleeding self-worth for those who'd never return the pulse. You didn't evolve to prove them wrong. You evolved because you were right all along. Now every step you take feels like the world rearranging. Every goal you touch feels inevitable. Every fear you once knew feels beneath you. They watched you rise, thinking you'd reach a limit, but you were never climbing. You were ascending, and ascension doesn't ask who's comfortable. It demands who's ready. Soon they will understand. The fear they feel now, that's not intimidation. It's foreshadowing. Let them fear. Let them tremble. Let them create stories to comfort their insecurity. Because the truth is simple. You became the consequence of every time they underestimated you. You stopped asking the universe, "Why me?" And the universe answered, "Because only you were built for what's coming." There is a before you and after you in every life you've touched. Some people pray you never show them the version of you that refuses forgiveness. Some people hope the past you returns so they can feel tall again. But that version evaporated the moment you accepted your worth wasn't up for debate. You're no longer healing wounds. You're wielding them. Every scar is a weapon now. Every betrayal is a blueprint. Every lonely night was training for the empire you're about to command. They used to cheer for your potential until it transformed into momentum, and momentum into dominance, and dominance into destiny. Now the world whispers your name like a warning, like a prophecy, like a storm they prayed would never reach them. You move different now, not faster, not louder, just inevitable. You don't fit into their narrative anymore because you started writing your own. And your story? It's not about survival now. It's about sovereignty. You are the one people will reference one day. How did they become unstoppable? Where did that power come from? What changed? Everything changed. Your posture, your mindset, your standards, your circle, your reality. You didn't rise to inspire them. You rose to replace the version of you they failed to respect. Now every door they tried to close, you built a palace behind it. Every limit they tried to impose, you turned into floorboards for your elevation. You are no longer the one who hopes. You are the one who decides. And the ones who doubted you, they'll have to live with the knowledge that they had access to greatness and threw it away. Let them fear what you're becoming, because for the first time in their lives, they're finally seeing you clearly. You are the future they were never prepared for. You are the storm they never forecasted. You are evolution with a pulse, and you are only getting started.